Another day, another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're starting the third season of Lost. Hopefully you guys are excited for today's episode. If you'd like to watch today's full episode, it is available for free in a link in the description below. Just click on it, put the password in and enjoy. So season 2 was great. It was his introduction of Henry Gale. Who is that, you might ask? Well, at first he was trying to pass himself as somebody that had actually drifted towards the island just like everybody else. He was quite smart in saying that he did not come on the plane. They do have the manifest, you know what I mean? They do have everybody's names, and he would have known that he was lying straight away. But he was obviously captured by Russo, who was convinced that he was one of the others, and Sayid ended up torturing him. Jack didn't want that to happen. You know, he actually stopped and intervened. He felt sorry for him. And, Jack was kind of annoying me in that episode, but ultimately I can understand where he's kind of going because, if he is telling the truth, it's pretty tight on what's happening to him. But Sayid turned around and said, look, mate, he is not telling the truth. I've done this in the past. I've done this in the war. I have tortured people before, and I know when people are telling the truth. Well, how do you know that, Sayid? Well, sometimes I come out of it and I feel really sorry for him, but this guy, not at all. He's definitely lying. So, do you know what? Henry's disclosed the location. So if you don't believe me, I ended up coming onto the island on an air balloon with my wife. We drifted on here, and around the world trip. We ended up crashing. We've been here for a little while. She's just passed away, and now I've been living in a cave. I've ventured out into the island. That's where Russo caught me. You get the location of the balloon and the grave and Sayid, Anna Lucia and Charlie, and he went to look for it. Now, the interesting thing is he did find it, and he found the grave. So it all looked great, didn't it? Well, the big twist was Sayid was having none of it. He said he's tortured him, and he doesn't believe anything that he says. So he ended up digging up the grave. And who's actually there? Was it his wife? No, mate. It was somebody called Henry Gale. And it just shows that he is another, and he's been lying about his identity. And the craziness is, Michael's been trying to get Walt all season. He's ran off. He's gone there to try and capture him. He's ended up obviously being captured and beaten up. And basically, they cut a deal with him. If you bring a certain amount of people back to us, we'll give you Walt and you can go free. You hold your end of the deal, we'll hold ours. Pretty much he asked for the names of Sawyer, Jack, Kay and Hurley. That was it. Only those 4 people was allowed to go with them. Now, he's ended up going back to camp, collapsing, said that, he's managed to escape them, he's been scoping it out, he knows exactly where they are, and if they all come with him, a small group they can infiltrate, and he can obviously, take them down. So they've gone to do that, but Sayid was going to come. Sawyer was like, look, mate, this guy's the only person that's had experience in the war. I think we need him on our side. He was like, no, mate, that's not happening. He was fuming, Michael. And, Sayid stepped back and said, fine, I won't come. But then he ended up saying to Jack, I think that he's been turned. Ultimately, that was the case because he ended up going into the cave, shooting Anna Lucia, shooting Libby, freeing, freeing Henry, shooting himself to make it look like it was an attack, and Henry's now escaped. They've all chased after him, do you know what I mean? He's actually took the group before that they were saying, gone all the way to the others. Dave then let Hurley go, said, look, mate, do you know what I mean? You're okay, Hurley, we're keeping the rest. You can go back to the camp and say, don't ever come looking for us again. This is your last warning. Walt's ended up being given back to Michael. Michael's been given a boat and coordinates to safe passage. Follow this and you'll be on your way back to, obviously, civilization. He turned around and said, look, mate, how do you know I'm not going to come back to you? He said, look, mate, if you did, people are going to find out what you done. You killed Libby. You killed Anna Lucia. I don't think you want that to happen. I think you keep your mouth shut. And then we ended up seeing Walt and, obviously, Michael just travel away on a boat. Very, very interesting. Obviously, we had most of the season inside of the hatch. What's going on? Are we pressing the button? Are we not pressing it? Putting the keys in constantly. Same numbers that, obviously, Hurley's been having, that he thinks are cursed. And at the end of the episode, finally, Locke smashed it all up. He was fuming. He didn't want it to happen. Desmond, he was scared. Don't know what's going on. It's blinkering all over. He's put the override key in and turned it. And the whole sky's literally erupted into like a mad violet light. It's gone flashing. Everybody's got a stories. It's so loud. I don't really know what's going on. But that is how we ended, mate. It was a mad end to the season. So I cannot wait to see what we have in store for us today. Hopefully that was a decent recap. Not watched it in about 10 days, and I think that was pretty good, and now I'm excited to dive into it. If you did enjoy today's episode, please smash a like, it really helps out. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, let's jump into the first episode of the third season of Lost.
When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go. The lights are much brighter there. You can't forget all the blues.
I burnt my hand and my muffins.
It's not even literature. It's popcorn. By the numbers, religious hokum pokum.
No metaphor.
It's science fiction. Now I know why Ben isn't here.
Silly me for sinking so low as to select something that Ben wouldn't like. doorway. Get into the doorway.
Oh, mate, is this on the island? Wait, Henry's there?
Goodwin.
You see where the tail landed?
Yeah, probably in the water.
You run, you can make that shore in an hour. Ethan, get up there to that fuselage. There may actually be survivors.
Wow, what a decent start, actually.
So I guess I'm out of the book club.
I mean, looking at that picture there of how wide that land is, with it's just trees, and then they just got like a small select field of houses in between. It's proper random, isn't it? But do you know what, right? I was going to say, what a random start to the season. Do you know what I mean? With characters that we don't even know. Especially because all eyes would be on it. Do you know what I mean? For the premiere. But then it actually turned out to be really good how they tied it into them being onto the island and they watching the plane come down. And isn't it mad, like, how they've obviously lived a normal, well, seemed to be civilized life, so to speak, and they seen it crashed, and then they decided to go, like, homeless mode. Do you know what I mean? And just, boom, let's go for it. I'm proper intrigued, to be honest. I actually did think that was a really good start. You know what I mean? That's obviously been left open on purpose, hasn't it? Oh, just because of the lighting you can't see. That's good. Yo, the colours, the vibe so far, I think have been really good.
Where am I?
You don't really think I'm going to answer that, do you? Wake yourself up. Wash the day off you and start fresh.
They keep taking everyone's blood, don't they? I'm sure they took Michael's when he first went with them. But they're all in different scenarios.
Where are we? You ain't gonna talk to me? What, you got more important things to do?
Warning.
I wouldn't do that. Want your advice, I'll ask for it.
Getting electrocuted. Do it. I mean, I'm sorry, I've got to say, right, I actually really do like how we started this season. Why? Because it feels different. That is, I'm all for, usually my whole thing about a show is change the clothes. You know what I mean? Like, because you get a full season, 25 episodes of him wearing like that checkered shirt, or like Michael with his ripped sleeves, and it's like, oh, I need an appearance change. But also location changes are also sick as well, in my personal opinion, because it makes it feel fresh. You have the same people with the same stories, but just change the location and the environment, and it starts to feel fresh again. They've done it really well here at the start with like the whole neighborhood vibe, and then here, you know, he looks like he's somewhere else. She's like in a facility which is like, I don't know, giving her showers and that. He's locked up like in a chamber. Like, what is actually going on?
Stop that. Hi, Jack. I'm Juliet.
Jack Shepard, I'm here.
Where's your lawyer?
I fired him. I'm sorry. Pushing us to this place.
Oh, not yet. He just got here.
Even go through with the convo, me. I would not go through with it.
What's his name? Tell me what his name is. I want to know. You can have everything. The cars, the house, I don't care. I just want to know.
He didn't ask for anything that bad there. But he then can go and find him and beat him up like.
If you want to talk, I'm happy.
Tell me where my friends are! You think I'm stupid?
I think you're stubborn.
That is true though. It is true. That is so true. He's good though, but he is stubborn.
Where are my clothes?
It's like school, innit? When someone like forces you in the shower and then takes him. Oh, wear this. The thing is, I would not be scared of him because I kind of know him. Like,
Sorry, I'm going to have to ask you to put those on, Kate.
And if I don't?
You don't get any coffee.
it's his face. It's his face, honestly. It's his smile.
I want my clothes back.
We burned them.
Why did you make me put on this dress? Why are you feeding me breakfast?
I brought you here so you'd look out at the water and feel comforted. The next 2 weeks are going to be very unpleasant.
What have they got in store for them? That's what I want to know. What have they got in store for them?
Just give me a minute, Dad. I asked you to give me a minute here.
What's this? Why are you dialing all the numbers on Sarah's cell phone?
Because one of them is him. When they first kissed, I want to know what it is about him. Why is Sarah calling you, Dad?
I want to know exactly why the hell she would call
See that you were slipping. I think I know a little something about being obsessive.
No, being a drunk.
I said last season, didn't I? When somebody hears something that they don't like about themselves, they deflect and say something nasty about you. He does that all the time.
If you're trying to talk to me, I can't hear you.
Oh, Dad.
This is how it'll work. You sit there, back against the wall. I open the door and leave the tray. It's a delicious sandwich.
I want you to tell the guy who's trying to talk to me through that intercom that he can give it up.
The button, what's it for?
It's for emergencies. Just off the frying pan.
Does look pretty good considering he's not ate for ages.
What do you do, Jack?
I'm a repo man. You know, when people don't pay their bills, I go in for the bank and I collect their possessions.
When your plane crashed, where were you flying from?
Sydney. I was bringing my father home.
Why would you go all the way to Australia just
Because he was dead.
You know what I'd love? If they get if someone falls for each other, it'd be so good, like it would be.
Jack.
I would rather it not be a play and it actually be a thing, like once someone catches feelings.
Hey, how long would it take to get to your camp?
What, you talking to me now, Chachi? Last one of you boys came for a visit, got tortured by our Iraqi.
Hey,
Hey, hold on.
you run that way.
It's like an abandoned zoo.
Hey.
Say it, Carl.
Sorry.
Oh, shit's got me guessing all over the place. Like, I reckon that it'd be a play to make Sawyer believe that he can trust him for later down the line when he can. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm always the negative guy. Like, I feel like they've done that, yeah, to make it look like when Sawyer later down the line either tries to escape or needs to get a friend on the inside or something like that, it's him. And really, they're just monitoring the situation and controlling it. Just like that woman put her hand to the glass and kind of like, you know, tried to get under Jack, if that makes sense, tried to get his feels. But also, I would love it if somebody actually did catch feels. I actually would. If somebody from these others started fancying Jack or Sawyer and vice versa, you know what I mean, Jack or Sawyer started fancying her, that'd be so good. It'd just be a twist, you know what I mean? And then it's unpredictable. It's like somebody within house starts catching feelings and you don't know what they're going to do and start going rogue. It gets well exciting. And also, Jack is obsessive about trying to find that guy's name, you know, who's getting with Claire. Let's be honest, not every time that somebody cheats on somebody, the person they're cheating with knows that they was with a partner, if that makes sense. So, like, for example, Claire could have got with him and told him that, yeah, I am married, but we've not been together for ages. And, you know what I mean, I've not seen him and we're getting a divorce. What's that dude supposed to do? Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not supposed to say, oh, I'm single and this woman's now single, but I'm not going to get with her because she was in the middle of a divorce that she's not seen him for 6 months. Do you know what I mean? So, like, he might not even have any idea who Jack is or what's going on with their situation.
The drugs we gave you when we brought you here have a fairly serious side effect. Dehydration.
It's like I'm a doctor, mate. I know what side effects are coming.
So you're a doctor, huh?
I'm a repo woman. With your back up against the far wall. Let me open that door, put the plate down, and leave.
See, if I was Jack, I wouldn't try attack her right now, me. I'd build a few days of trust and then go for it.
Let's take out the epidural catheter and get him started on a PCA.
Do you reckon Jack thinks his dad's seeing Claire? Imagine he thinks that.
You must be Jack. Why don't you grab a chair and join us? Your father's told us all about you.
Yeah, what's he told you about me?
That your son never really had it. My life, my job, my marriage. What'd you tell him about my marriage, Dad?
You know how he manages his marriage? A bottle of scotch every night before dinner.
Your father has been sober 50 days now.
But you talk to me. I will not let you sleep with my wife.
Well, that's disappointing from Jack, that. You should never think that, should you? Surely not.
Which way out? Open the door.
I can't, Jack. I do that, we die.
I will kill her.
Have her open the door and she dies anyway.
Oh, he's locked her in there. I think Jack's going to save her now. It's just Dr. Instinct, isn't it? Maybe that button should drain the facility.
What?
Oh, I knew it'd be the button. I just said it. I think... Oh. Yeah, to be fair, she would knock you back. I think that's a table turn for her. She reminds me of Kate. She does, man. Can you eat that? Yeah, I was that's better than that.
Stick your hands out through the bars. I'll take off your cuffs.
I'll look at her
Bring you
wrists.
some antiseptic
What have they
later.
done to her?
How about you bring me an ottoman? I figured out your complicated gizmos, that's how.
Only took the bears 2 hours.
I requested that cage, but what?
Throw the fish.
You hungry?
I knew he'd throw the fish. See, yeah, the more I see these two in these situations like this, man, I do like them together. Like, they'd look good there.
It's an aquarium. These things for what? Sharks?
Dolphins, too. They called it the Hydra.
So you people are just whatever's left over of them.
We know exactly who you are, Jack Shepherd. We know that you're a spinal surgeon, based out of St. Sebastian's Hospital in Los Angeles. I know your father died in Sydney. I have a copy of his autopsy report.
How though? That's not good enough, I'm afraid.
What is that?
Is your life.
Is it just about me or is it about my family too?
It's pretty much about everything.
Do you know about my ex-wife?
We know all about her. What would you like to find out?
Shepherd, someone posted your bail.
How'd you,
Your dad told me you were here.
Sarah.
What?
I need to know who he is.
It doesn't matter who he is, it just matters who you're not.
Yo, that is fucking deep, mate. Wow, that's well deep.
Your father? He was so drunk I could hardly understand him. Look at the bright side. Now you have something to fix.
Jack. What would you like to find out?
is she happy?
Yes.
See, that shows like Jack's kind of a good guy now. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'd like to bring you some food and water. But this time, I need to know that you'll behave.
I'd do request me and say, bring me that grilled cheese again. That one looked nice.
Good work, Juliet.
I mean, at the start of this episode, yeah, she had a book club, didn't she? And they were saying that guy, there was a guy in there and he said, you know, Ben would have never have chose this or something like that. And she was like, wait, I don't care what Ben would have done because it's my favourite book and I like it. Do you know what I mean? I have to run everything by Ben's approval. And then you had like the whole like earthquakey, shaky thing when actually, obviously, it was the plane coming down. And he ran outside. He's obviously come out, Henry, Ben. And he's like, yo, Ethan, you go there. I forgot the other guy's name, but you go there. Do you know what I mean? Make sure you get information, check it every 2 days. You know what I mean? And they obviously bounced, and them two stared at each other, and he was like, mate, guess I'm not invited to book club no more. I'm thinking that him, Ben, and Juliet used to be in a relationship. But it's not Jack and Juliet, is it, mate? That's what I'm thinking anyway. Like, he kind of left her to die there. He knew that he was going to open that and the water was going to flood in, and when she tried to escape, he locked that door. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't think twice. It was every person for themselves. He just ran, boom, your loss, not mine. Now, again, it's really interesting because I don't know if they're trying to break everybody down. If looking at this in this episode here, you know, Jack looks broken down. Kate looks broken down. Sawyer's not broke yet. He actually isn't. He's ran off, you know, he got caught, he put back in. He's still the one that's like the most normal out of them all. And also, yeah, I really do like the fact that we didn't see any of the other camp. Like, this episode was literally Kate, Jack and Sawyer. A couple of the others dropped in here and there. Bit of backstory. I thought this was actually a really solid episode. I was wondering at the start when we opened up with characters that I didn't know, and I was thinking, what a bold move, really, because I thought it was going to be the Desmond storyline. Because remember last season, we kind of ended with Desmond and his girlfriend. Well, Desmond's girlfriend there, like getting a call from these like Portuguese people in the middle of the Antarctic or something, say, mate, we found an anomaly, we think we know where he is, so to speak. And she was like, what? And then obviously it ended, and I kind of thought like maybe we opened the episode with her, but we didn't. We opened it with them on the island in their little village, which is better than I thought it was going to be. And I thought this episode was really, really good. That's going to wrap up today's episode. Thanks so much for checking out today. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. I've got to say, mate, I absolutely love coming back to it, like a show that I've been watching. Like, done it with the Westworld, you know what I mean? We watch the season, go over to there, get excited for that season. When it finishes, I'm like, yes, mate, I can go back to Lost. I love it. It just, little break up gets me pumped, mate. And what a good episode this is. Now, obviously, I would love to see, obviously, the second half of, like, the reaction of the camp when Hurley goes back and tells them what Michael done. Do you know what I mean? Nobody knows that right now. Also, you know what I mean, that they've been taken and they've been told not to go back there. We also have Jin, Sun, and Saeed, you know, they're out and about as well. So we could still get a bit of story from them. Did he know that they're there? You know, they was on a boat as well. Still playing to the Desmond thing. Like I said about him and his ex, or his hopeful to be wife who's searching for him. Again, seems like I've got a lot of money. She's in search of him at the end of last season. We got the whole thing about the island and what was launched into the sky and why did it all change colours. But we're focused here heavily on obviously them being taken and been put into an aquarium, it looks like. And I was saying it was a zoo, but aquarium, same. And you know, I'm excited to see how it goes. I feel like that woman, it was a good introduction from her. She had a good episode. I feel like she's really pretty, and I feel like it could be someone that Jack could end up getting with. Only because, basically, do you know what I mean? It's like, when you open up and you get heart-to-heart, I've not seen, that's what I've not seen many heart-to-heart open-uppy opinions and stuff on here. Like, you don't see, like, Kate crying, you know, emotionally, and someone comforting her. That's how people kind of get closer together, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, you could see her coming back, and she looked like she'd been maybe beaten up or something. I wasn't too sure, to be honest, because she went to the, you know, she went to the sea, and she was having breakfast or whatever's, and put the handcuffs on. She was sat there with Henry, Ben, whatever's, and she was in an okay state. And when she come back to the cage, which, sorry, is that another one, all her hands was blooded, and it looked like she'd been struggling around the wrists, and she looked vulnerable and upset, and you could see that he was vulnerable and upset for her, and he had a connection of like, here, have the food, you know what I mean? And he was having a little banter as well, saying, nah, I wanted that cage, but I didn't get it, I got this one instead. And you know what I mean? Like, I always said, I think in the first season I was saying if I was going to pick, I'd just pick Jack and Kate. I hate doing the triangles. I hate going here, there and everywhere. And Kate, will there, won't there? Do you know what I mean? With this and that one. But like, if we don't do a Willy won't there, and if we do just a character build, then I love it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I personally felt a decent connection between the new woman introduced here and Jack, and I also felt a strong one between Kate and Sawyer, and I do feel like Kate and Sawyer have got strong ones as well, and I do feel that they kind of insinuated that as well, because the guy was like, why is it that you asked for Sawyer first? And personally, I don't put names between, you know, where's Sawyer and Jack, where's Jack and Sawyer. I don't see the correlation of using that to say that you care about one person first. Sometimes I'll talk about Locke and Charlie and Locke, you know, I might say Charlie and you know, Charlie and Claire, or Claire and Charlie. Like, just depend on the situation. It's not like I'm thinking of one better than the other. That's how they kind of try to insinuate it that way. You know what I mean? Maybe they're trying to test like who likes each person more, so to speak. Experiments are clearly going on. People have been put in different situations. See, now they're obviously coping for it. Jack seems like he's broken down a lot in this episode. Kate seems like she's obviously come back upset. Sorry, just Sawyer, do you know what I mean? This Gates has been beaten up. I feel like, again, maybe it was a play by them to infiltrate like Sawyer's mind, him thinking that this guy was kidnapped, just the same as him. And he's escaped and he's been captured, and like maybe later down the line, if they see him, they believe that they can trust him when they can't. You know what I mean? That would be clever as well, implanting another mole like they've tried to do with others. With Goodwin, that was his name, and obviously Ethan. So, great episode today, honestly. Very, very good. Really did enjoy it. Thanks for checking it out. If you did enjoy it as well, please smash the like, it really helps out. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.